time of the day to you friends, and welcome to another video where we talk about movies, films and cinema. Today we discuss something that I cannot believe is going to happen. Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. How wild is that? I'd say that by far majority of fans are excited about this news, but I still want to take time and talk about it. Why exactly Sam Raimi is not only good, but perfect choice to direct Doctor Strange movie. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe for more similar content, and if you will enjoy this video, please do hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it. I am Mr. Feature, and without further ado, let's delve in. Sam Raimi paved his way into Hollywood through his fantastic horror flick Evil Dead. Since then, he has become nothing less of a master of horror. And most importantly for MCU and Doctor Strange, Raimi is skilled not only with R-rated projects, but with putting out PG-13 horrors. Yes, he did create Evil Dead series that trademarks gore, violence and bloodshed, but there is this one film, Drag Me to Hell, that was rated PG-13, which presented Sam Raimi in his absolute prime. The movie is not only a fun and simple story of a girl trying to lift a curse of herself, but a great balance of satirical, hilariously absurd moments and truly nerve-wracking horror scenes. In fact, there is a sequence where the main character is haunted by the devil himself in her house, and it's absolutely one of the most terrifying things I ever saw in film. I'm not sure how Raimi got away with PG-13 to be honest, but I'm sure Marvel will push ratings limits as much as they can. And if Doctor Strange 2 has even one scene of that caliber, we are in for quite a ride. After all, Doctor Strange is well known for having some disturbing psychedelic horror storylines in the comics, and with Scott Derrickson, another horror visionary, having laid a solid foundation for the Sorcerer Supreme, who is suited better to build on that while bringing own unique excellence than Sam Raimi? Raimi will inevitably introduce his signature goofiness, humor and groom with some bizarre, weird and disgusting things to look at. But all that is exactly what we all want from a movie titled Multiverse of Madness. Just imagine getting something like this sequence from Doctor Strange, only more extensive with horror-inducing tension. Goosebumps! It is often true that comedy and horror are two sides of the same coin. Famous comedian Jordan Peele demonstrated that well with his horror flick Get Out, that nicely packed humorous tidbits among nightmare-inducing set pieces. There are a lot of both talented comedy and horror filmmakers, but there is a very short slate of directors who demonstrated blending both genres into one in a harmonizing and coherent way. Sam Raimi is exactly that guy, and Drag Me to Hell and Evil Dead are both testaments to that ability. It's truly wonderful when a movie can make you go from sitting on the edge of your seat, gasping for air, and then make you burst into laughter a second later. This talent of Raimi's is extremely important for crafting a film around someone like Stephen Strange, as the MCU Sorcerer is essentially a slightly more serious but still witty version of Tony Stark. I can so perfectly imagine Strange battling a baby-eating demon whilst making jokes about baby wipes. If there is anyone who can make that work on screen, who has proved to do so, it's our boy Sam. Of course, we can't ignore Raimi's biggest achievement in cinema. Do you realize that the MCU is what it is today primarily due to the success of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy? In fact, Spider-Man 2 is by many opinions a definition of the best superhero film of all time. The film delves into the themes of revenge, greed, jealousy, grief, while delivering bright-colored, big action set pieces of top-notch quality. We are presented with routine problems of a young, selfless adult who is trying to balance his life, all while saving New York from deathly threats again and again. Raimi captured the essence of Peter Parker's character like no one did, or arguably has ever done since. In fact, after a series of dark superhero movies that populated cinemas in the 90s, Spider-Man brought a unique lightheartedness that still packed enough of serious ideas that deliver a fantastic emotional punch. He birthed a whole new take on the genre which Marvel Cinematic Universe has adopted. So in a way, you are bringing one of the grandfathers of MCU to raise their new child, to provide a breath of fresh air, and Sam can certainly pull it off. And also, it's worth mentioning that Spider-Man is not the only superhero-themed movie Raimi did. He actually created a brand new character and made a movie about him, which ended up being Darkman, released in 1994. It is a brilliant piece that was considered one of the most unique superhero films of the 90s. Raimi clearly doesn't have to rely on source material to make a great superhero movie, but if he has to, he can extract the absolute best of it. With all the creativity and experience in the superhero genre behind his back, we can be all but certain of the greatness that awaits Doctor Strange 2. One of the things that Sam constantly brings up is that working with studios is always more strenuous for him than doing an independent film. Raimi spoke about this many times and partially said that the reason why Spider-Man 4 never happened is because Sony didn't give him enough time to finish the script for the film. That's not surprising given that the man directs absurd comedy horror movies with a lot of goofiness. Not every studio would support that. So why is that a plus for him to direct movies for Marvel Studios, which is known to have a utilitarian vision on applying its current formula across all movies? Well, there are two reasons. First, it's time for MCU to find a new direction, a new conveyor, a formula and a recipe, if you will, for its upcoming films. With the past phases, they simply exhausted their current strategy. And Sam Raimi might just be experienced and creative enough to open that new door for this universe, much like what Favreau did with Iron Man in the beginning. Again, we know that Raimi created a superhero and made several successful films about the other one. The man knows how to build and organically expand fascinating universes. The second reason is that someone who is that independent of a filmmaker, but who has worked with studios many times, will know how and when to push back, how to find that productive balance. I think Raimi's relatively failed experiment with Spider-Man 3 also shows what he should not do, but he will mostly build on the balance that he found with Sony before, only now with Marvel Studios and Disney. Also, let's not forget that Raimi did already work with Disney on Oz Great and Powerful, and even though it was not quite the success we hoped it would be, I bet that Raimi learned his mistakes from that experience just like he did with Spider-Man 3. Besides, my guess is that Marvel and Disney know that they hired an independent filmmaker with a big name, which means they are prepared to make some inevitable compromises. And last but definitely not least, villains, villains, villains. Of all Sam Raimi movies that I had seen, none of them ever suffered from a weak villain. Not only the antagonist would always serve justice in being an opposition to the main hero, they would always have a compelling, crystal clear if not relatable motivations. And oh my god, do we have to mention Spider-Man trilogy? Green Goblin, Dr. Otto? Hell, Venom might have been a misstep, but even Sandman was an absolute fan favorite of Spider-Man 3. I truly appreciate how Raimi always takes good men who try to do right by their family and themselves, but fail to overcome a struggle of dealing with a past trauma. His antagonists always go through some sort of progression, which always results in an engaging and interesting clash between the hero and the villain. With Doctor Strange having severely suffered from underdeveloped villains, the sequel might fix that in a big way, delivering MCU's best villain or villains under Raimi's direction. So there you go guys, do you think Raimi's take on Sorcerer Supreme will end up any good? Or do you think it will flop hard? Who did you want to direct Doctor Strange to? Please let me know in the comments, let's talk about it. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please do support this channel by smashing that like button. If you want more videos like this, then do subscribe below and watch my other videos like the ones I did on the Tenet and Venom 2. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a great day. See you in the next one.